こんにちは、です。今回は英語ができる人の特徴、これについてですね、10年以上英語講師をやっているオンライン英会話Camblyの先生に聞いてみました。で、この先生ですね、これまでAtsueigoにも何回も出ていただいているんですけれども、これまで10年以上英語講師をやっているということで、もう何百人もの生徒を担当してきたと。で、その中でやっぱりずっと授業を受けているけれども、なかなか伸びない生徒がいたり、ね、ずっと授業を受けていて、ものすごい伸びた生徒がいたりと、いろんな生徒を見てきたという話をこの前していました。で、そこでですね、今回この先生にどういった特徴を持つ人が短期間で速いスピードで英語力を成長させることができているのか、こういったところについて彼の意見を聞いていました。で、この動画の最後では私の意見もですね、簡単に説明しようと思います。で、この動画のスクリプト、今回はですね、特徴、性質を意味する quality、これをね、入れていただくと、公式 LINE に入れていただくと、スクリプトダウンロードできるようになっていますので、こちら入力して、スクリプトダウンロードして、ぜひ勉強にも活用してください。それでは、早速動画見ていきましょう。どうぞ。
So today, I wanted to ask you, or I wanted you to share some experience around. So, I think you being a Cambly tutor, I think you've come across lots of different types of students, right? Some students progress really fast, and some students take quite a long time, like pretty slow, right, in getting the grasp of how to communicate in English. And what I wanted to ask you today was, what do you think is the gap caused? So what do you think are the qualities of bright students who are really good at, getting the grasp of things and progressing really fast? Because I think there are like certain attributes that I think you've identified already interacting with students that makes a difference between those two different groups. So if you could share your experience or thoughts on that, that would be great, because I think, people watching my videos who are really keen to learn English and grow fast, I think they're really curious about, what's the thing that makes them good learners.
The first one is cultural immersion, language immersion, and just being surrounded by it, and just gaining a grasp on how things work, the mechanics, the slang, colloquialisms, the accent, everything, even the vocabulary. You have to really immerse yourself in it. It's hard for me when I'm learning Japanese sometimes, because it only, is like 15 minutes a day or even less than that. And it's kind of a slow progress. The good thing about Duolingo is that it does help to keep you on track with your streak so that you don't lose your streak. So you have to do it every day. Otherwise, your streak freezes or you lose it. So that's the good thing about Duolingo. It helps you repeatedly interact with the language. But I would say that Duolingo is not enough. You have to immerse yourself in the language, whether it's English, Japanese, Chinese, French. You have to immerse yourself in it, surround yourself with it, and just breathe it in, basically, so that you become part of the culture and you become part of the language itself. The second category I'd probably say is motivation. What is your motivation to do this? How much motivation do you have? Are you studying for the test, or are you studying to live in the other country? Are you studying it because your boss tells you to learn the language and to become proficient in it? And if you don't have a particular motivation, if you're doing it just for fun, I think that motivation can only go so far. If you are really studying, like for me, my motivation is mainly for fun, but also so that I can learn or watch Japanese anime without having to use the subtitles. Sometimes, when I am busy doing other things, I might look at my phone and I can't be reading the subtitles and doing my phone at the same time. one of the superpowers I wish I could have is listening to the Japanese, understanding it completely, and still doing gaming, something like that, multitasking. So, of course, I want to visit Japan as well, live there for a while, experience the culture, eat the food, visit the people. And I think that'd be really fun. And so that's my main motivation of learning Japanese. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So the categories that you've mentioned definitely partly come from your experience, right? Interacting with students. So going back to the first point, first category, which was immersion, right? So students, I think, taking Cambly lessons, mostly I think they are based in their home country where the language that they are learning, in this case English, is not spoken in their daily lives. But do you think the students who grow really fast try to deliberately surround themselves in the environment where the language is spoken by for example, listening to English, listening materials or something all the time, or watching dramas or something like that? Do you think they make that conscious effort to do that?
Plenty of my students try to do that. I'd probably say, because with my Japanese students specifically, they are pretty exposed to English already, just because of the ties between Japan and the United States, technologically or culturally or with tourism. So, and they're kind of forced to learn, English at a young age, starting at a young age. So, but even those that still surround themselves with the material, they listen to it, they listen to podcasts. A couple of my students, I'll give you 2 examples without mentioning any names. One of my students is from Japan. He lives in Taiwan, and he still is not able to really get the accent down and the pronunciation down correctly. Maybe he might mess up a few words or some grammar. But he listens to podcasts on the way to work, on the subway. He tries to watch certain videos, and he's even testing. He's decided to test for the TOEIC test, and he's been studying for that, And so, even with all of that, his accent and his pronunciation of certain words and things that he wants to improve upon, I still haven't really seen much of development in that. Let's go to the other student. She lives in Japan, and she's a mother and she's a teacher, and she also struggles with accent but she also struggles with speed as well, trying to read at a natural pace, trying to speak at a natural pace. And she, does Ingu daily news. She does breaking news English. She reads and she listens to TED Talks. And she does that a pretty good deal. Both of my students, I think, also rewatch our lessons. So there's a lot of immersion going on still.
Yep.
But still, I haven't seen improvement a lot in certain areas.
Right.
Even though they might be learning more vocabulary, learning maybe new grammar. Still, so I would probably say that the desire to become like that other culture has to surpass the desire to pass the test, or the desire to be able to read.
Yeah, which relates to your second point, which is motivation.
Yeah.
And I think, I think partly it's because of how they approach accent and pronunciation as well. Just immersing yourself in the environment where the language is spoken doesn't necessarily perfect your pronunciation or an accent or improve your pronunciation and accent. Right. And I think that's where phonetics and something like that, comes into play, because if you dig deeper into that academic level, you start seeing on a more granular level, like phonemes, allophones, and stuff like that. And they really helped me improve my pronunciation. So I think they might just need to cut it from a slightly different angle so that you can, they can unpack what's really causing the issues and what's really, being the impediment in their progress.
Right. Diagnose the issue or even self-diagnose.
Yeah.
I'll give you one last example before we finish. There's this one student from Mecca, Saudi Arabia, and she said that she learned English in literally like 4 months or so. And her accent was like perfect British English accent. It was amazing. And I was like, how in the world? And so my idea is that she studied every single day for several hours, at least every single day, listening to the accent and trying to do it. And, but I think also she's somewhat intelligent. So that helps in a certain way to be able to register all of the new information very quickly.
And now analyze logically as well the issues
then
that she's
analyze from there.
experiencing.
So people are different. People have different skill levels. So each person that learns English, they need to analyze themselves, know themselves, and figure out what the best strategy is for themselves.
Yeah.
And if someone can help them with that, that would be great too.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, very good.
Thanks for your thoughts.
Finished. So I will see you in our next class.
All right. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
はい。ということで、動画見ていただいたんですけれども、彼は、immersion とか motivation っていう言葉を使っていましたね。この辺が重要だと。私もこの辺は結構重要だとは思うんですよね。特にモチベーションは重要だと思います。で、immersion は最近よく聞く言葉で、特にやっぱりネイティブの方が言いますよね。で、個人的にはイメージもとても重要だと思うんですけれども、私はこれ以外にとても重要なことがあると思っていて、それについてちょっと簡単に最後説明してから動画を締めようと思います。で、私が重要だと思うのは考えるっていうことなんですよね。考えた英語学習を行うっていうことが一番重要だと思っています。で、やっぱり英語が伸びてない人っていうのは考えてない。とりあえず英語を勉強していると。で、とりあえず英語を勉強してもある程度は伸びるんだけれども、ある程度で終わってしまう。ただ、英語を考えて勉強している人っていうのはしっかりと考えているので、その分成長スピードがどんどん速くなっていくと。そういった特徴があるなっていうふうに、個人的にいろんな方を見てきて、また自分の経験も通してですね、思っています。で、特に重要なのは3つポイントがあると思っています。1つ目は、英語学習の全体像をちゃんと捉えることができているかっていうことです。英語学習っていうのはものすごい長く続くと。私ももう十何年っていう風に進んでるわけなんですけれども、その中で自分が今どの立ち位置にいるのか、そしてどのようなステップを踏んで、いわゆる上級者と呼ばれるところまで行くことができるのかっていう、この道筋が見えているか見えてないかで、自分の選択肢っていうのが変わってくると。なぜなら、その人にとって今やるべきことっていうのは、その人によって違うわけですよね。なので、人によって優先順位っていうのは違うわけです。A という人は発音やった方がいいかもしれないけれども、B という人は文法やった方がいいかもしれない。そういうのは人によって違うわけですよね。で、これを判断するためには、どのように英語の構成要素っていうのが積み上がっていくのかっていうところを理解しないといけないので、まず英語学習の全体像をちゃんと理解できている人っていうのは、しっかりと考えることができるので、成長スピードが速いと。で、この英語学習の全体像については、公式 LINE で、提供している English Intelligence というテキストに詳しく書いてますので、こちらをしっかりと、ちゃんと本気でやりたい人は読んでください。で、2つ目なんですけれども、2つ目はしっかりと目的意識を持って学習をしているかどうかです。目的意識、つまりなんで私はこの学習をしているのかっていうのをしっかりと理解できているかっていうのが今後の成長につながると思います。例えば、シャドーイングをするのがいいっていうふうに言われて、とにかくシャドーイングをしている人もいれば、シャドーイングってなんでいいんだろうっていうのを自分の中で考えて、なんでこのシャドーイングしてるんだろうっていうのを理解した上でシャドーイングをする人だと、全然この意識だけで成長スピードが変わってきます。なんとなくシャドーイングしてれば、リスニングが良くなるらしいってやるのか、シャドーイングをして聞き取れないところをちゃんと見つけて、その原因を追求していく、このためにシャドーイングをやっているんだ。 っていうふうに思ってやる人だったら、もう全然今後の成長スピードが違うわけですよね。なので、同じ行為をしているように見えても、ね、意識の矛先、これが違うことによって、大きな成長の差が出るという部分が将来あると思いますので、目的意識をしっかりと持って学習をするっていうのが大事だと思います。これ2つ目ですね。で、最後なんですけれども、3つ目は、しっかりと問題を識別して分析して解決するというプロセスを普段の学習でやっているかということです。例えば、発音がうまくいかないという時に、この発音がなんかうまくいかないなって終わらせる人と、発音がうまくいかない原因は一体何なんだろうと。それを突き詰めて、そして解決策を導いて解決していくと。これができる人だと、大きく英語の成長に差が出るというふうに思います。で、これを考えるためのフレームワークっていうのが一つ目のポイントで言った英語の全体像っていうところでもあると思いますし、それからですね、テクニカルな知識、例えば発音だったら音声学とか、そういった知識になってくると思います。なので、がむしゃらに学習をする、何も考えないで、みんながこれやってるから私もこれをやるとか、そういった学習をするのではなくて、もうこの3つ全てに言えることですけれども、ちゃんと頭を使って考えて英語学習をするっていうのが、個人的にはものすごい重要だなっていうふうに思っています。いろんな人がいろんなことを言って、それでいいと思うんですけど、個人的にはそういうふうに思っているというところですね。はい。ということで、最後まで見ていただきましてどうもありがとうございました。また次の動画でお会いしましょう。バイバイ。